What's going on, friends? The good news just continues to pour out of Harley-Davidson with the new boss in the office. Now, right now, while it's just talk and laying out a plan, Harley-Davidson's new boss does have a history of doing what he says he's going to do and actually following through with it. Now, while all this is happening, on the other hand, Harley-Davidson's competition may just be doing something that's going to help Harley out in the biggest way they possibly could. Right now, Harley-Davidson has been further away from what they were founded on and what they stand for than they ever could have possibly been. The things that we were worried about with the previous boss, Jochen Zeitz, all those things that we had concerns about, well, they basically came to fruition and he ended up driving the company into the ground. But at the time we thought, hey, you know what? Let's give the guy a chance. He's a complete outsider coming in. Maybe Harley-Davidson just needed a fresh set of eyes. But in reality, what he really did was just slap the customers in the face. He basically drove everybody off and pretty much told everybody, this is the new Harley-Davidson. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. And the sales numbers were pretty evident. That's exactly what happened. But now we have some new information on what the new boss is going to do to try to turn things around. And to be honest with you, it is exactly what needed to happen. And you guys are going to really enjoy this. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button. And consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. The third quarter earnings call for Harley-Davidson just wrapped up with the new boss. And things are about as you would expect. They're in shambles right now. But one thing that was taken away from this is that Artie Starrs vowed to bring the heart and soul of Harley-Davidson back to the streets and restore it to what it originally was and what it stood for. Simply put, Artie Starrs is doing a complete 180 from what the previous regime had done, and he's going to take a whole new direction with Harley-Davidson. And the greatest part is, it's the simplest thing ever. It's just getting back to the basics and making Harley-Davidson Harley-Davidson again. Now, nobody wants to have a bad experience in the dealership, and I know myself and many of you have had some pretty piss-poor experiences when it comes to dealerships. And this is exactly something Harley-Davidson's new boss wants to focus on, is creating a good dealership experience for everybody that walks in the door. To me, it's kind of reminiscent of trying to get it back to what the old Ma and Pa Harley-Davidson dealerships were like. And honestly, I think that's what he's aiming for. The next thing on the agenda when it comes to the dealerships is he wants to reduce the inventory that is being held at all the dealerships. As many of you know, Harley-Davidson dealerships are overstocked. They're at max capacity. They can't sell the units. So what do you do to get rid of inventory? You gotta have some sales and you gotta drop the prices. And I guarantee you, here pretty soon, we might start seeing some adjusted pricing in the Harley-Davidson dealerships that'll actually get the inventory moving. Now, the other side of this is the other part of his plan here with the dealerships. He also wants to have market-responsive programs for the dealerships that focus on the local customer in their market. In other words, what that might entail is pricing that's more suited for the market that they're in. Also, more events that are more tailored to the places that they're located in. And not only that, basically tailoring your local dealership to your local clientele and population. That right there is going to be a huge thing for a lot of people, including myself. It's no longer going to be this one-size-fits-all blanket when it comes to the dealerships that may work in New York City, but it doesn't work in Southern Texas. Harley-Davidson is really wanting to work with the individual dealerships and create a plan that works for the company and for the dealership. And I can see where this is coming from with just in 2025 alone, dozens and dozens of dealerships have closed down, went out of business, or maybe if they were lucky, they're still open and they just merged with another larger dealership. Harley-Davidson wants you to feel welcome again in the dealerships and become the hub in the center of the universe for Harley-Davidson in your area. Just like it used to be, the way everybody would, hey, let's ride down to the dealership, go see everybody and hang out, drink some coffee, whatever. Harley-Davidson is actually wanting to bring that back now. And a lot of this came from Artie Starrs walking into the dealership, not as a CEO, But as a customer, before anybody ever even really knew who he was or what he was doing, they thought he was just a businessman off the street coming in to buy a brand new Harley-Davidson. But what he was really doing was he was buying himself a new Harley-Davidson, but he also wanted to see what the experience and everything was like at a random dealership for himself, to where he had an idea what he's working with and where he could make his changes. Artie Stars is really focused on bringing back the experience that Harley-Davidson used to give people back when it was in its heyday and they couldn't keep motorcycles on the showroom floor. Focus is going to shift on lowering the price on the current models and also shifting to production of lower priced, more accessible models for a lot more folks. So it's as if Harley-Davidson is trying to offer something for everybody in just about every price point they can get to. The way he's talking and the things we're looking at, he might just be able to get it done and actually still keep the quality in the motorcycles. That's my big hope. So far, I'm really liking the news coming out of Harley-Davidson, but the news coming from Indian, this just might actually help Harley-Davidson out in so many ways. Now, as many of you may recall, Polaris sold Indian off to a private holdings organization, basically an investment company, and they put Mike Kennedy in charge of Indian to run it. But Indian may just be taking a very fatal path that Harley-Davidson tried to go down. Now, I don't think this is a Mike Kennedy decision, as he worked for Harley-Davidson and he's seen what happened when Harley-Davidson went down this path. This is more of a corporate overlord decision for Indian, in the fact that Indian wants to go and start producing more t-shirts, more apparel, more Indian accessories, home goods, things like Harley-Davidson has done for years in an attempt to bolster the brand while leaving, in my opinion, less focus on their core business, which is building motorcycles. Now, if y'all recall, Harley-Davidson has done this for years with, I would say, moderate success, but it kind of backfired on Harley-Davidson in the fact that the big running joke was Harley-Davidson is a t-shirt company instead of a motorcycle manufacturer. But with Indian and Carolwood being the parent company now of Indian wanting to take this path, that's why I say I don't think this is a Mike Kennedy decision, as he is definitely a heavy hitter in the motorcycle industry. But whatever, corporate knows best, right? And it's kind of funny that this is all coming at a time when Harley-Davidson is looking at kind of pulling back that and wanting to be known more for producing motorcycles versus just company branded logo goods. And Indian at the same time is wanting to turn around and do the exact same thing and put more of their focus on t-shirts versus their motorcycles. But hey, at least Harley-Davidson now is going to be putting the focus back on motorcycles and not so much on clothing and accessories. Now, one thing Indian and Harley-Davidson do share is that they do not have an entry-level motorcycle that is really accessible to the masses. Now, Indian has the Scout 60, Harley-Davidson has the Nightster, but they're still right around $10,000, and they're still 975 cc's, and I'm not sure off the top of my head what the Scout 60 is. I think it's like a 900 or something, but either way, those aren't exactly small displacement entry-level motorcycles, and that is a problem that Harley and Indian both share. But it looks like Harley-Davidson's trying to take the initiative and actually take care of that with the upcoming sprint. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there. So guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think about Harley-Davidson and the path that they're taking? Do you think they're heading in the right direction? Do you think it's a good idea to start focusing on motorcycles and trying to get some entry-level bikes and lowering the price point like the CEO's looking to do? And what do you think about the dealership situation? Do you think making the dealerships more welcoming and trying to tailor them more to the market that they're in is going to be a big deal and help the company out? Let me know your thoughts below. But anyhow, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But the next week, guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars. Catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.